Hello and welcome to episode 2 of the side quest. I am Whymsy, your host, back from Dying on Repeat to Theseus and the Minotaur in Hades. To my right is Cardinal, who just started Doom Eternal Ultra Nightmare. Good luck. And to the left of me, now officially an ex-WoW player, is Stark. And we're taking time off for our main quest to pick up a side quest here. Lads, how you doing?
I like the updated intro. It's very slick.
Yeah, it was nice.
Very slick. I'm doing well. Thank you very much. Stark, what about you?
Doing fine.
You're surviving?
Barely. The usual, we're just coasting on through.
Yeah, that's a way to approach life, I guess. But yeah, so this is our show where we talk about mostly games, sometimes other stuff, but just a few general topics. But as per usual, we're going to start off kind of going over what games we've been playing the last while. So I'll let you go first this week, Jason.
So playing is a very strong term. Okay, playing.
I don't think it is.
It is.
No,
It
playing
is.
games
It
in
is.
2021.
It is. See, that's the thing. But there's so many ways to consume games without actually playing them yourself nowadays.
I see.
So
You are a consumer.
I've been playing. I've been playing the good old reliables. I've been playing Final Fantasy. Still, I'm approaching the end of the story, which has been quite good so far. I have been also playing Doom Eternal. I got back into Doom Eternal. There was an update recently. They added a horde mode.
Yeah.
But I've been playing through Ultra Nightmare, which is the hardest difficulty permadeath.
Is it spooky?
No, I wouldn't. No, it's not really.
Nightlight on after you play it.
It's like spooky, but you're the monster. Is how I would describe it.
Kinda. It's more just like it's like hardcore. Like there's like lots of like heavy rock / metal playing as you run around and kill all
I've never
the.
played Doom, so
It's probably
One of
my. It's like in my top 3 favorite games ever.
Specifically, so Doom 2016 or Doom Eternal?
No, Eternal.
Eternal.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought the same one. Or was Doom Eternal like the second one?
No, Doom 2016 was like the kind of reboot of Doom, and then Doom Eternal is the newest game that came out in 2018.
Is it like a sequel?
I wouldn't say it's a sequel. There's definitely elements of it that carried on from the first game, but like Doom games are kind of just standalone. Like
their own
you just
thing.
go in, you just murder demons,
Yeah.
you listen to some metal, and it's just amazing.
It's hardcore,
yeah.
man.
But they really added on a lot of mechanics that just feel like they should have always been in the game, so it feels amazing to play. So I've been playing that. Permadeath is fucking hardcore. It's
Well, you have to play permadeath.
hardest difficulty permadeath. Yeah,
Why
That's
are you
a
doing
mode you
that
can
to
pick.
yourself?
because it's the
Because
hardest difficulty.
one of his viewers redeemed the channel points reward.
How far have you gotten? Give me
So I
percentage-wise with the game.
probably I've only done a couple of runs. I've gotten to the 3rd level
How
out
many
of
levels is it?
I think there's 10
Fuck
or 11.
me.
Damn. All right.
So
So you're
it's
doomed.
honestly, the beginning of the game is actually. I'm just gonna ignore that. The beginning of the game, unironically, is more difficult than the majority of it.
That's
Oh, you were
some
saying that on
serious
stream
copium.
because
That
you-
is some serious.
No.
It's because it's until
You
you,
don't
have like a
have
dash or
all your
something.
power-ups. So the way the game works is you start off with just one weapon. You have your shotgun, and you go and you shoot the demons, and you get a little upgrade for your shotgun after a while. Then you pick up the machine gun, and you get weapons as you go through the levels. But you also get in the 3rd level, you get your dashes, which is absolutely required for surviving in the hard difficulties. And then about 5 levels in, you get the super shotgun, which has a grappling hook on it. So
Seems excessive.
until you get 4 or 5 levels in, you're very vulnerable.
Yeah.
You die super fast. So the beginning of the game is quite difficult, and then it kind of mellows out. It's pretty chill, and then the final 2 levels or so are kind of crazy as well, but they're supposed to be. So I've been playing that. I've also been watching a ton of a new game that was published by Devolver Digital called Inscription. Yes.
I have
Oh,
heard
yeah.
about that.
Inscription
the
is
spicy game.
I'm gonna say it here now. I think Inscription deserves Game of the Year.
Oh!
Really?
Yeah.
Damn.
Well, I guess I'm playing
Alrighty.
And it's one of those games where I would say resembles Subnautica in the way that you start playing it and you're like, damn, this is really cool. And you're playing and playing and playing. And then you're like, okay, I've played for maybe 10, 20 hours or so. I've kind of seen everything. I'm probably approaching the end, and you're getting closer to your goal without spoiling what you're supposed to do in the game. But then when you achieve that goal, it's tutorial over. It's now you actually play the full game. And it just completely opens up. It's crazy.
All right.
So I would say
It's by Daniel
Inscription
Miller, right? That's the guy's name.
Yeah, same guy who did Pony Island
Yeah.
and so on. Yeah, really, really cool game. I've also been playing Guilty Gear Strive again.
Still on
what floor are you
4-1.
on now?
I've gone down.
How can you go down from 1?
No, I'm not on 1.
He was on 2
I was on
before.
floor 6.
Oh.
And what happened is, so I'm going to describe this as like a skill valley, right? Okay, hear me out. Hear me out.
All right.
This is not copium.
Yeah, sure.
not copium.
Okay.
Of course.
It's like when you start off and you're just button mashing and you know like 1 or 2 like moves and you can like fight people.
Totsugeki?
Totsugeki spam actually got nerfed.
Really?
Yeah, it did. You can't chain them anymore, so people can break the combo.
That dolphin was broken,
Yeah.
to be fair.
So when you start off and you're like, no, 1 or 2 moves and you're kind of button mashing when you start panicking, like you just like pressing random
Yep.
stuff. You're like having fun playing against people that are kind of the same skill level as you, right? And you can like win matches and you lose matches and so on. But then what happens is I'm like, one of my mates is also playing a ton of Guilty Gear. He played like 40 hours in the last week or something
Jesus.
crazy. So he's improving really fast.
Yeah.
And I'm also trying to like learn how to play the game properly.
Yeah.
So now my skill has just like fell through the floor.
I do kind of get what you mean,
Yeah.
but it is copium.
You got to get worse to get better.
No, don't give him that excuse.
It's because like I play against someone who's like button mashing and they beat me because I'm trying to play properly, but I'm not
Exactly,
good
yeah.
enough to play
Yeah,
properly
yeah.
yet.
Yeah, I do get you, but it's still copium.
No, okay. I'm just gonna stop because that it will turn into like copium. Then I'm gonna get my gas mask from
Alrighty.
behind the set here. So
Yeah.
Guilty Gear, and the other game that I've been watching a lot of, which the name escapes me now. I mentioned
I know you said it earlier. It was Darkest Dungeon.
Darkest Dungeon 2.
Oh, okay.
DOS. Yeah, I've
looks
been
really
I've
cool.
been watching it quite a bit. It is early access, I believe. It's like an Epic Game Store timed exclusive while
Yeah.
it's in early access. But I really love what they've done with the game.
Yeah, it's such a cool like development on the art style for the first one. Like the way they kind of took it and they like 3Dified it, but but like it's still like so it looks like a bit more modern and different, but like at the same time still like familiar.
Yeah, it's not
Looks
like
really
the
cool.
same game with an updated graphic style. It's
Yeah.
just like it's like a new take on Darkest Dungeon,
Yeah.
which I think is the way to go. I'm glad they've done that. So that's what I've been up to for the last
Cool.
couple of weeks.
Alrighty, I'll let Stark kind of gather himself as he's currently.
Yeah, sorry. I don't know what's going on. I might be sneezing the entire time. I may have to take dramatic
Well, not
pauses.
sneezing because you stop yourself from you physically stop yourself from sneezing,
Yeah,
which is still the strangest.
I hold my sneezes in because I'm a gentleman.
That's makes zero sense.
So I don't have very much to report on, like quantity-wise, because I've still just been playing WoW and Final Fantasy 14 mainly.
Yeah.
However, I delved into it, gentlemen, and I played New World.
He did it. He did his homework, unlike somebody
I'm
who
not
didn't do his
paying-
homework from the last episode.
I'm not paying for New World, okay? It's just not going to happen, right? It's just not going to happen. There
Well-
are constants in the world like taxes and dying.
Well, there's
and
taxes
me
in
not
New World
paying-
as well.
Oh,
Me not paying for
Jesus
New World.
Christ. We were discussing all the New World, the issues the game was having recently with the hull declined to become invulnerable bug,
So
which was then
funny.
replaced by the log off after selling an item at the auction house, you don't get gold, and then just being able to crash people's client by injecting HTML is like... It's weird as well that like it's just such a crazy slate of issues just like crops up in the public eye like a month after it fully releases.
Yeah, I don't know. But I can tell you, so I only got to like level 10.
Yeah,
Okay, so I didn't fully engage
that's
myself in it.
that's kind of about where I got to as well.
Yeah, and I'll start with the positives, okay? I think all the crafting and stuff in the game is really good.
Really?
It is.
Alright.
I think the whole gathering element and then the whole crafting element is all super interesting. Like, I crafted myself like an iron spear, and it came with like a random enchantment that was like chain lightning. And I was like, I didn't know that could happen. That's really cool.
All right.
Pog. I didn't have to do something special to get a magic weapon, so that was really, really cool. I think all the crafting and gathering is super cool. Now, granted, I did only get to level 10. I can see how it could get tedious.
Yes.
But I didn't get that far, so I'm not going to say it was tedious. The world itself is class. I think New Light was the only town I actually went to, but like it was super cool. And I was like, it felt really big. I'm not sure how big it actually is, but it felt really cool. And like how all the houses in the town are actually players' houses, because like you buy like a specific plot of land, and then the person who has the best house there is one that gets displayed in everybody's game. I thought that was really, really cool. I didn't get high enough level for it, and I'm not sure how relevant it is later on, but I was wandering through, and there's like these corruption spots that just randomly open in the world.
Yeah, I saw
and they
that.
fuck you up if you're not a high enough level.
Right.
That was pretty cool. The aesthetic of the game is great. That was the good stuff, okay. Now we get to the main bad thing is, my god, the game is unbelievably horrific to play, and I would not inflict that on any of my worst enemies. Like,
Really?
holy fucking shit. The actual mechanics of the game, of like moving and attacking, feel like they're from a PS1 game like 10 years ago. Wait, 10 years ago? Okay, PS1's
no,
different now, like
I
20 years
don't
ago.
think it was
It was
that bad.
horrific, Whymsy. It's okay.
Deep breaths.
So I started, well, yeah, everyone starts with like the longsword, okay?
Yeah.
And I took the special ability that like you do like a little forward leap and you do a big spinny,
that
a big
one, yeah.
spinny thing. And I was like, damn, that's cool. But the problem I found is that if you're standing directly in front of an enemy and you use that, you actually go through them.
Oh,
And you
I've
have to,
used that as well.
you have to
yeah.
literally 180 your mouse to start hitting them again, okay? And I understand people who like play these types of games where it's like, you know, open world like Skyrim and stuff like that. That's what you do. That's not what you fucking do in an MMO. I don't want to have to 180 my camera to hit the 18th mob that I've killed for this quest. I want to be able to auto-lock, and there might be auto-lock in the game. Wasn't told.
I don't believe there is.
Never fucking...
No, I don't think
there is, but it's horrific. Comboing skills into, like, in between your rotation doesn't work. It just isn't in the game. Everything has horrific animation lag. It's slow as fuck. The world itself, while beautiful, you can see all these graphical issues and glitches, and traversing the actual land is terrible. The movement is awful. It like,
oh lord,
I don't understand how Jeff Bezos can go to space and also release New World.
I feel like a proud
you
father.
were looking so smug on
I
that
feel
end
like
of
a
the table.
proud father.
Like, you haven't even played this.
I'm gonna shed a tear.
But yeah, that was my biggest gripe with the entire game. I think like there's some interesting things. Like I think the skill tree is cool. I think they, you know, like I don't know if you know, classic WoW had like all the weapon skills and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think they've done weapon skills interestingly because
Yeah.
everything has its own weapon tree and stuff like that. But it doesn't matter if the gameplay is dog shit, you know?
Yeah, it's like very superficial. You know, it looks really cool from like an outside perspective, but then when you actually start playing it, it's like, yeah, this looks great, but if it's not fun to play, like what's the point?
That's pretty much my sentiment about it as well, yeah.
All right.
I was watching a Josh Hayes comment, and
Oh,
he was
yeah.
like, people were asking like, how can you save New World? And he's like, how you save New World is you take it out back and shoot it.
Oh my god.
And then you rebuild it.
Yeah, we need New World, A Realm Reborn.
New
If they just
New World
took,
around
if they just took like the world of New World and
the
just
warrior of
made
light.
made the
to-
gameplay interesting, I think it would be really good. I was so excited. I wanted to be. So I dumped everything into dexterity, and I was like, I'm gonna use a spear for my main hand, and I'm gonna use a musket as my
As your
offhand.
offhand.
Yeah, the spear has a 2-hit combo. You do one stab like this, and then you do one stab like that, and then you go into animation lag, and then you do one stab like this, and then one stab like that. And I'm like I don't care if it gets better later on. It's shit now.
All right.
So
I don't know. It just sounds like
fuck New World.
It just sounds like you don't
Maybe
like the
not fuck
combat as
New World,
opposed to
but fuck New
it's
World.
bad. Is that all you stuff you did?
I
from Final Fantasy?
started to play Scarlet Nexus, which is like an anime weeb game,
Oh yeah.
on a Saturday, which was a mistake because I was hungover and going out that night as well. So
All right.
my brain computation wasn't really there. And then I AFK'd in it for 3 hours while my nana came over and had a chat with her downstairs. And then I just didn't play it again. I plan on doing
Fair
it,
enough.
but I just haven't.
Eventually,
done
we'll
it
probably hear about it next episode.
yet. It's got a really cool way of doing cutscenes where it's like half manga, half
Gameplay.
animation. It's kind of cool because like the characters don't actually speak, but they come up with like their you know, like in Persona 5 how
Oh yeah.
the characters come up in like those screen things like that. I don't know what the technical term is because I'm dumb.
Well, that's
as
a
hell.
lot of JRPGs have that where
Mm.
it's like they'll have like the kind of like the main view of like the characters and their models talking in the background, and then they'll have like the little picture of them with the
No,
text
but
box.
it's not even like that
Oh.
because it's dynamic and it changes, and the view you have of your character changes, but it's all still, but there's a lot of changing. So it's just a very interesting way of doing it, I think. It's like you're seeing a bunch of like slightly animated PNGs in succession, but it's done really stylistically and well, so it's kind of interesting.
Don't know what you mean by that, but all right. move on to my one. I'll go last here. So, yep, as per usual, the usuals, Final Fantasy 14 and MTG, kind of the main ones. I hit Diamond in Draft in MTG, which was pretty
Pay to win. Got boosted.
In Draft, you literally...
Got boosted.
Draft is paid to enter.
Got boosted.
I did not get boosted. But yeah, which is pretty cool. I also played New World. Did my homework. I played, I think, maybe about like half an hour of it.
Oh, jeez, okay.
But
you got to level 10 in half an hour?
No, because I played it before. I played it when it was in beta. I kind of have a different opinion on you because I don't mind the combat that much. I kind of like, it's a nice switch up compared to like MMOs where it's like you kind of have to be more engaged. It's a bit more kind of like dynamic, and it's not just like, oh, I click on someone and then I press the buttons in the right order.
But like that's kind of what MMOs are.
Well, I don't have to be
I guess
like that,
they can
though.
change the formula, but it still feels shit.
Yeah, well, it's like I like kind of the dynamic, although I did kind of have some of the issues of you where it's like sometimes things don't connect properly. I don't actually really care for the world that much. It's kind of a bit bleak, and just in terms of style, I prefer games that are kind of a bit more like out there and like go for less amount of like pseudo realism with their design and more kind of like they go for something a bit wackier, which is I think kind of why I like Final Fantasy so much. Is like if I think of like Lakeland just looks really cool as a location.
Cool,
yeah, just like all these pink trees.
Big lake.
But yeah, so like that kind of part, just the setting as well doesn't really interest me. I didn't get too much into the crafting. It's really cool that you can just like accidentally make magical weapons.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was dog shit. It did like 6 damage.
Yeah, but I mean,
it was
it's still
cool.
like, it's still like a cool little. Oh, I got this nice drop from crafting, which is cool. But yeah, overall, I mean, the main issue is the one I think most people have, where there's just not really enough content in it for me to like invest. And that was something I was already tired on in the beta, and as soon as I got back into that again when I was replaying it after release, I was like, yeah, actually, you know what? I'm not committing to this. But yeah, I also actually, first of all, Group Iron Man, played a little bit of that.
Oh shit! Yeah, I've played a bunch of Group Iron Man as well. I completely forgot.
Yeah, you
because I've been on the Chin Champa grind.
Yeah,
I've got I think 5k chins.
It's not a game at that point.
But I do think I have definitely been slacking on the Group Iron Man thing. I had let my team down. I went through the classic Iron Man stuff, and then I kind of got at Winter Toe, and at some point that was just. I fell off at that point. Did you get past the Winter Toe?
No. It's cool though. It's just a nice game to like. It's kind of like relaxing. It's definitely a game where you kind of have it on your main screen, and then like there's like something else that you're kind of paying attention to on the side.
I have my thing in the tiny screen on the right on my second monitor. Resetting my box straps in a square.
But I also picked up Hades and kind of played that a bunch. I kind of haven't sticking with it as much recently because. With Endwalker coming out, Final Fantasy's kind of been the big grind. But Hades is a very good game. I did not think I'd actually like a roguelike like this as much as I thought I would, but it has loads of really cool elements to it where it's like, I think most roguelikes kind of tend to just be like, oh, you get to play this and it's a different experience every time, go have fun. But Hades kind of has like elements that build upon each iteration that you play through. Like you can unlock the new weapons, but then there's also like extra story elements that go along with it. And every time you make a run, there's like usually a new kind of dialogue option you open with the character and stuff. So it kind of builds the roguelike aspect of it into its story really well and like makes it a really complete game, which has been super, super fun. I
haven't played it, so I don't have a comment.
I have. Hades is phenomenal, and Supergiant, the devs, I think Supergiant in name. They did a documentary with a channel called NoClip on YouTube, and it documented the initial development and like early access period of Hades, like and the studio and. Through lockdown, they even like had like equipment stolen, like people like looters broke in and stole a lot of stuff like instruments and things from the studio, and it really, really cool. I would recommend. It's like a 4-part documentary on YouTube. But I heard recently, a little fun fact is in Hades they've recently got the voice actor in for the final boss to re-record some voice lines because when you get to the final boss, without spoilers, he makes a comment about how many times you've died and tried to get there. So they brought in a voice actor and re-recorded voice lines if you get to the final boss on your first try ever playing.
Really?
Yeah. Because it doesn't make sense if you get there first try and he's like, oh, you died so many times to get here. But that's a super small touch.
Zero.
Yeah.
Really cool.
It's that was one of the things I think people were talking about around this, because that came out obviously a few months before Cyberpunk, and one of the big issues with Cyberpunk was the whole they put their team through hell to get that game out the door on time. and obviously it was still super buggy. But Supergiant made extra effort to make sure that there was like no extra crunch, there was no like additional pressure put on the team to kind of get the game out on time, which is really cool and also like really rare. I think especially like AAA studios, a lot of the focus tends to be on hitting these deadlines on this time. So kind of having a studio that first of all kind of avoided that, and secondly came out the other side with probably the best game.
Did
it
win
year.
Game of the Year?
It should have.
It was definitely nominated.
Instances. Yeah,
I think it did at maybe 1 or 2 Game Awards shows, but I don't know.
It was kind of. It was I think almost universally like the Game of the Year for like a lot of the indie kind of reviewers. The ones that I think.
I'm pretty sure it won Indie Game of the Year.
Yeah. But even like independent channels, you see a lot of them number one game of the year. It's like there's one reviewer I watched, Jim Quisition, who is normally like, yeah, I don't normally like give my games of the year like, you know, like a rank order. I just throw a list, but Hades is just the best one by far. Phenomenal game.
Yeah, and also the voice actors are so amazingly
so
good in Hades, and Meg can step on me if she wants.
I'm now interested.
literally the first boss.
The first boss.
She has a
man.
whip as well,
It's
so
not very
she
much.
She does have
that.
a whip.
It's not very much commitment.
But
Okay.
yeah, so that's kind of been our last month of stuff. I wonder if we're going to have any. I think our homework is probably just play Inscription, us two. Because
Yes, I do want to play, but I want to play Inscription, whereas like it's not homework, you know.
I suppose.
Like New World was fun.
New World was definitely homework.
It was
New World was.
definitely
I played that like I think a few days ago.
I felt like I
just as I
I played it yesterday. So
Exactly.
I continuing my lifetime throughout school of leaving things until the very last
last
day.
minute.
So
all right, but our main topic today kind of I think loosely refers to a couple of the games that we mentioned here before. Going back to I think one of the first things we discussed on the episodes that weren't released. Esports, like a more of a broad discussion as opposed to something specific. I think it's right that time of the year. Obviously, we're in start of November, so Worlds is wrapping up. We've just had TI happen, and the CS:GO major is still going on.
Yeah, still underway.
Still going on. So this is like I think just everything's happened to convene at the time, especially with like lockdown lifting and a lot has been happening. So just with the esports word, cyber athletics on the floor, and I'm gonna throw it out. What kind of esports games are you familiar with?
while yes, how do you spell esports?
Capital E.
No.
If a capital is required.
No.
Yeah, if a
Well,
capital
what
is
do you mean
required.
if
Is required.
What do you mean if a capital is required?
If it's at the start of a
If
sentence.
it's in the middle of a
that,
sentence.
that also has a capital T if a capital is required.
Yeah, but
Capital T.
but like mid-sentence, lowercase.
yeah, lowercase. Esports, no hyphen.
Yeah, no hyphen. All lowercase unless following the basic rules
Yep.
of grammar. Yeah.
Yep.
That's how you get that out of the way.
Yeah, and if you spell it any other way, you're wrong.
Incorrect.
Yeah.
And you should be ashamed of yourself because your parents are probably just
That was the most important thing to establish.
I want to interject quickly and ask, what's the most cursed way of spelling esports that you've seen?
E-capital S sports is like
Yeah,
seems like,
that one is
seems like it's a scary
really
amalgamation.
bad. That one's really bad. I can capital S for me is probably the worst offender.
Capital S is a bit of a yikes, to be fair.
Yeah, but I think it just I don't.
What about to put an underscore in there?
I'm gonna actually out
Why
someone.
would you say that?
I'm gonna
Why?
I'm gonna out someone, but not say their name. When we were running some events in Ireland for collegiate
Yes.
students and players, there was one team in particular that decided they should be called something electronic sports, and that was like. And we
You
said
can't
to
say
them,
that when I'm drinking. I'm really
Like,
sick.
do you mean esports? Is like no, electronic sports. That's the name.
yeah. So we were just like, look, do you really have to have the electronic thing in there? And they were like, yes. So we were like, well,
We're proud of our
okay,
electricity.
I guess.
Oh, I feel ill.
Now he's going to start like turbo sneezing.
Oh, I'm angry.
But yeah, there's also the variations. I think like cyber athletes is the one that you.
I know
hear a lot.
cyber athletes is kind of almost too funny to not
Yeah,
be
exactly.
real,
It's just
you
like
know?
a meme. Cyber athletics, e-gaming.
Yeah, we're approaching the new Coca-Cola ad right now. Like,
No,
with the
stop.
cyber
Oh
athletics.
yeah,
Stop.
they fixed esports. They solved
The worst
world.
part is they are so unbelievably clearly copying the BFA WoW cinematic.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Why?
yeah. That was.
Why didn't they just reach out to an actual game and be like, hey, maybe we could do this collaboration with you guys? Because surely everybody be fucking scrambling for the chance of being the official Coke advertisement.
I know.
No, like
This is such a great thing, but they were like, no, we'll do it ourselves, but we're gonna fix gaming.
and by fixed gaming, we mean
Gaming
shit on gaming.
Gaming is no more.
We've solved toxicity.
Yes.
They
Oh, it's like
The orcs are nice now.
Coca-Cola version of Kendall Jenner handing
Exactly,
the Pepsi
yeah.
to the police officer.
Okay, I was gonna say it's worse. Obviously, it's not worse.
No.
But from my perspective as a gamer, it's like that.
You can say it's
Yeah.
more cringe.
It's more cringe. It's definitely more cringe because
Yeah.
I mean, Kendall Jenner being in it it's hard to say Kendall Jenner's cringe, you know.
But it's kind of, I feel like, oh, actually, no, let's not get too far into
Yeah,
that.
maybe
Let's not
divert.
get too far into that. So yeah, I was doing a bit of research, which is of course cringe, for this episode, and I came across, I saw this a couple of weeks ago, where they ranked basically it was like an impact on the PC landscape list. So it's like in terms of like time watched, time played, and obviously all the esports titles were at the top of it. 3 games were nominated as tier 1.
Oh,
All esports titles. Can you guess what they are? 2 of them are pretty simple. One of them is maybe a little bit more.
one of them's League of Legends.
League of Legends was number 1.
I'd say. But when was this list made?
Like it was for Q3 2021.
Is this like current
Just
impact
for this year or
all time?
Just for Q3.
just Q3?
Just Q3.
What happened in Q3?
So July to September.
Is it Dota and Valorant?
Valorant is there. Dota isn't. In fairness, this was
Valorant is there.
Yeah.
I thought it was a dead game.
I think Valorant Masters happened in September. I think
Yes,
so.
it did. Yeah. I would probably guess Counter-Strike.
Yep.
So, yeah, I would have maybe the toss-up for me would have been either Valorant or Dota, and I was actually a bit unsure about Counter-Strike because Counter-Strike wasn't really doing much up until the major.
Well, for Q3 was TI and it wasn't top 3.
No, TI started in October. Q4.
Is October not Q3? Oh my god, it's not.
October is in the fourth quarter of the year, Adam.
Okay, look. Sometimes, do you ever just say something a bit silly and we're all going to move on?
Yeah.
What's the next list, Whymsy?
No, I was just kind of, because I mean you were talking about how you weren't certain CS's there, but CS I think no matter what goes on just managed to maintain. I mean it is like kind of the oldest esport, the classic. That like I think that's one thing about esports is that I don't think CS will ever die, no matter what. Well, League of Legends is probably at that point now as well, but CS has kind of just been. There's always the audience for
it's hard for shooting someone in the face with a gun to become not relevant.
Yeah.
It's just so simple, yeah.
If your game is the best one at shooting someone in the face with a gun,
That's my like issue with Valorant, and they've done a lot to circumvent it. Well, not circumvent it, but to address the issues. But when you compare like the most simple formula of Counter-Strike versus Valorant will never be as easy to follow because you by nature have to understand what the agents do. You need to know what certain abilities are doing.
Yeah.
Like, why can this guy see through walls all of a sudden? Whereas Counter-Strike is just so grounded in reality, I guess.
Yeah.
It's like it's like Rocket League, where even if you don't know the game and the mechanics, it's just ball in the goal.
put the ball in the hole and you win.
That's basically it.
Sports ball in the hole.
But like I think it also speaks as well to I mean League of Legends is above Counter-Strike on the list, and like you said, Counter-Strike is really easy to understand, really easy to watch because it is so simple, and it's the kind of esport where you don't really have to be playing the game and keeping up with everything to be able to enjoy watching a CSGO major. But where League of Legends is just lights on the screen.
That's because everybody plays it.
Yeah, exactly.
Literally everybody knows
it speaks
what's
to
going
kind of
on,
Riot's like ability to get people into it through other means, and also just build up like good general excitement around
Did this
the event.
include Worlds?
No.
Interesting.
But it did include a lot of like the
build up,
the playoffs for all the domestic leagues.
Yeah, because I will say one thing that Riot has done phenomenally with is like the hype around Worlds every year for people who are interested in it is crazy.
So unbelievable.
It's such like it's got to the point now where like even in League it can matter. I could be playing it a little bit. I could be playing a lot of it. When it gets to like October, it's just a general excitement around that time of year.
I haven't watched either of the semi-finals over the weekend. So, because I was too hungover.
The best analogy I saw on Twitter was that I'll give you a spoiler, just to the general vibe of the series, if that's okay.
Yeah, I accept it.
The T1 versus DAM1 series was like a 5-star meal, 7 courses, just as beautiful. The Genji versus EDG one was like a kebab in the shop in the street, but they're both fantastic.
But that's what
I
want
entirely
going home.
different reasons.
I want look,
exactly.
Let's be real, okay? What do you think is better, okay? Oh, fucking Thursday night for, I don't know, your fucking great aunt's birthday soiree. You go to this 5-star restaurant for a meal, and like, oh, why are you having your food? It's really tasty. It's a bit fucking dry though. Let's be real. You're never gonna be having the good balance in a 5-star restaurant. Or coming home from the set and getting I wouldn't get a kebab, but getting like a class 4-in-1.
Oh yeah.
Ready for action. Bang out the gate. What saves you more? I don't know. Do you appreciate more in the moment?
It depends on the mood you're in. To be honest, I think.
Yeah, it depends on who you're with too. You know.
Yeah.
If you're like, you want to impress someone, you want to be a bit suave, and you want to go out somewhere very fancy, get kind of dressed up, and
best kebab in Dublin.
You're looking good, you're feeling good. You don't want to be sitting there with a kebab and you're like spilling like fucking mayonnaise
that's
all
my
over
point.
You.
Obviously, they're not interchangeable. I'm talking about which is like, which is the better vibe.
Well, I mean,
what do you appreciate more? Because I know it's definitely the 4-in-1 after having the session.
I don't go to enough 5-star restaurants with 7-course meals to really know, to be honest.
Both series are good.
Sorry, that was a bit of a
back. We hung on to the restaurant analogy a little bit too much, but yeah, it kind of just goes to show, I think, how leagues, just general fan base propels it, and it's a similar thing. I think that Riot are galvanizing with Valorant. One thing that plays into it as well, I think, is the circuit structure. And when we
of League of Legends or Valorant?
Well, both, because they're both kind of adopting similar things where they have regional events that build up to an international high point. Valorant is definitely more akin to CS, where rather than being one big event at the end of the year, they have like the individual highlights with Masters, and then Champions is like their worlds. But I think having it like that kind of builds a more sustained interest in it throughout the year, compared to something like Dota, for example, which TI, fantastic event, but like this is an esport that a little bit of a spoiler, is at the bottom of their tier 2 thing behind a ton of other games for Q3, which is like,
because Dota only has TI.
Exactly.
Or I will say they always have these Russian streams that are massive.
Well, it's a huge game in Russia.
Huge in Russia.
It's the biggest player base by far, I think, apart from maybe China. But TI has unironically cannibalized the whole Dota circuit, because
100%.
teams do nothing except try to qualify for TI.
Yeah.
They do not care about any match. They only care, can we get into TI? Because the money differential between like your regional, weekly event versus like getting into TI, even getting to like the quarterfinal of TI is like leagues ahead of anything else on the circuit.
Yeah, that's actually a very good point. I didn't even thought about that.
But that's something that they say is that like that's literally your only path is you have to qualify for TI or you're basically just not a Dota pro. Whereas Riot, on the other hand, have managed to kind of, with League especially, as League has been kind of something that they've shaped very specifically for it, build up like a ton of stability, almost to the point where people are like, oftentimes, I think more so in the Western regions, but crying out for like talent, like new talent to kind of come in a lot of the time. And they've had to like build talent structures to encourage this change. Franchising is another thing that like cemented that as well, and was very strange to see come to League of Legends. But now that a top team can lock their spot in the top league and just sign this talent on huge contracts, means that, okay, if you're a good player, you don't have to, have that one best of 5 where you missed that skill shot and you just lost. You're still basically getting compensated for.
But do you not think it's a bit boring? Okay, and this is 100% spoilers for Worlds 2021.
All right.
When you're sitting there as an EU fan and you're like, fuck yeah, it's got to Worlds, and then all of your teams shit the bed.
Well, that was just this
and
year.
You have to wait another full year until you can see your team compete against these regions. And for that entire year, these regions, well, maybe not those regions, but NA is going to be like, Omega Lull, you're shit with us. So
damn,
I have a pretty strong opinion on this, because I have been out of the like league scene for quite a while. Like, I don't religiously watch games anymore. I don't really follow the teams at all. Like, to me, like, League of Legends is like Xpeke plays for Fnatic, and like Reckless is like too young to even play the game. So,
it sounded like 8 years ago.
What was the last new champion you remember?
To me, Zed and Thresh are still new champions.
But they're not.
Oh my god,
Jason.
And yeah, they are. As if they weren't in the game when I started playing, then they're new.
Okay.
So I come from the Counter-Strike scene where we have the total opposite, and I actually
Fully
have
open circuit.
yeah, I have a very hefty dislike for both systems for different reasons, because I think
Just hate everything.
no, I think that League of Legends players are kind of deprived of international play.
Yeah,
you have
100%.
MSI and you have Worlds, and outside of that, it's extremely rare
Yeah.
for two different regional
There's
teams
literally nothing.
to play each other
Literally
outside
nothing.
of like maybe a show match or something.
Yeah, but like, who gives a fuck about that?
Yeah.
Like?
So I think like one thing I really wish Riot would do at Worlds, if they're going to continue with this and not budge on it, is add double elimination, so that if your team like that, your favorite team, they finally qualified for Worlds and then they get absolutely like obliterated in the beginning, they have another chance to play again, and you'll get to see them
it's a good
come
point.
back in.
I don't really know why it's not. It's probably not double elimination because it would like double the length of the tournament
Yeah,
and the amount of
that's
money it
almost
probably
almost certainly,
the
yeah.
amount of money they probably spend on the production of the entire
one
thing.
thing to compare is that I think TI usually just has their events in one place, whereas like Riot make Worlds a roadshow where they usually will go around the region and like have, all right, we'll have our group stage in Paris and we'll have our quarterfinals in London, we'll have our semi-finals in Spain, and we'll have our finals in Berlin.
Also, it's kind of a tough one as well because with League, it's like I think it's gotten even more region locked recently because the second EU were out of Worlds, honestly, I lost so much interest, like immediately.
Yeah.
You know, so if it was double elim and my team
Your
still
team's
goes
still
out
out for
early,
longer,
I'm
yeah.
actually just not interested for twice as long. You know,
fair.
so it's
Yeah,
a tough one.
I
you know?
I definitely get that, but I just think for someone who's maybe watching it to just see the highest level of play, double elim is always the way to go.
It is ideal for the viewers. Like, not only does it give them more games to watch, but it also gives them like these like deeper storylines within the tournament.
Yeah,
itself.
imagine someone makes a crazy lower bracket run and then they do a bracket reset in the grand final, and like I do get like League of Legends events are quite long, but on the other hand, right, on the flip side, Counter-Strike with its totally open circuit, I hate it because
nothing matters a lot of the time.
it's not that nothing matters. Like each individual event does have like big stakes and there's a lot of
Yeah.
prize money and so on, but to me it just feels like, oh, here we go, it's Navi playing Astralis again for the fourth week in a row, and I'm like, I don't I don't care.
Some Counter-Strike analysts will spin that as, oh, it's mental because, you know, we get to see these best teams in the world clash week in, week out. And it's like, yeah, we do. Every single time. They are the best two teams, so they play each other all the time. And I'm done caring. I just want to see the underdog win. But it doesn't happen because they, like, when it does happen, it's good. But, like, you have to sit through so much just, following this major? Oh, okay. Again.
See, the major I disagree with because usually...
Majors are super hype.
The major is one of those places where like the mental pressure is crazy, and we've seen at the moment like there's a team currently playing in the major called Entropic, and they were super underdog. Like a lot of people had them 0-3, just gonna flunk out of the major, like, and they've just started bodying people, like, and now it's like mentally setting in where because they've started to play well, now people are starting to worry about playing them, so they're like over analyzing it and playing even worse than they normally would, and you don't really get that outside of the major too often, and even if you do, it's not as impactful because it's not a valid
it's just
sanctioned
a
event.
minor. It's kind of cringe.
It's just kind of like, I wish we had something in between the league system and the CS system where there was a bit more of a build up. I don't want it to be 2 events per year where you get to see a Russian team play against a North American team, but I don't want to see the same teams, the same players play each other in the same maps, the same rounds with the same metas, like week in, week out from month to month.
It is tough. Yeah, I don't really know the solution though. You know, because I think just adding in 2 more events doesn't really solve anything. Because you're just gonna have 2 more MSIs. Which
they need to cut out events. They need less events.
CS:GO they do,
yeah.
but for League they need to add them in.
I
don't even know if they do need to add
I actually think I kind of want to have one final thing on this topic, but I think the Valorant is a game, the third tier 1 game that kind of strikes a nice balance of that, because it has kind of the ebb and flow of the league scene, but they do bring these teams together more often. They have these big international events, I think 3 or 4 times a year. They all build into the champions, which is like the big highlight at the end of the year, but it seems like they were kind of forced to be a little bit more open because they're competing directly with CS, but the result looks pretty cool out of it. I still want to see exactly how it develops. There's some issues I have with the point system and which teams actually get to qualify for like each individual tournament. But it looked pretty cool for the most part.
Well, Valve are just like sabotaging their own event right now. I don't know if anyone's been keeping up with the news, but like Valve hate coaches and they are actively trying to destroy coaching in Counter-Strike.
Counter-Strike.
Yeah. So this current major, so for anyone who doesn't know, TLDR, really, really quick. Before a game, the coach, like, 2 or 3 minutes before the match is due to go live, the coach will get everyone up, they get into a huddle and they're like, let's fucking go, we're going to win this game.
Hype.
Everyone gets super hyped and then they sit down and the match starts straight away. And now Valve are like, yeah, you're not allowed to do that anymore. It has to be like 10 minutes before the start of the match. So then everyone sits down and they have to wait there for like 10 minutes. Coaches are not allowed encourage their team mid-game anymore. Like if someone is in a 1 versus 5 and they kill everyone, they win the round, the coach can't just even shout like nice and say well done. He has to be silent.
He has to sit there like...
So
wait, the coach is on the stage with them?
The coach sits behind them because when they call a timeout, they can talk to them.
Yeah,
But the coach can't
okay.
talk to them while the match is on, only during timeouts.
I don't think the community will let them get away with not involving the coach
Like,
for
fuck
tactical
off.
timeouts.
So
It's so strange.
the difference, I think, is like Riot is very involved with both League and Valorant scene, and Valve are just like money printer go burr.
Yep. Pretty much. It's kind of like the key distinction. All right. I want to move on to some of the... There's a tier 2 section. Which,
Tier 2 section.
Yeah, which has a lot of different esports. So I'm not going to go through all of them. The first one I have a specific note on is Overwatch.
Oh.
Actually, okay, hang on now for a fucking
No, I
minute.
have quite
Hang
a
on
strong
for a minute.
opinion on this one too.
How the fuck is Overwatch in tier 2 when there hasn't been a game played in Overwatch in about 5 years?
People watch Overwatch. People watch Overwatch.
People don't even play Overwatch.
There is no Overwatch to watch.
I'm just reading the list. All right, it's actually
Okay,
near the
hang on.
top of tier 2
Hang
as
on.
well.
Give me the name of that
And they're
website.
fucking the top of tier 2.
Nearly the top
There's
of tier 2.
literally no way.
They're behind Fortnite.
Both of those games haven't had a competitive event in like fucking 3 years.
Fortnite has like very regular competitive
Oh
events.
hell yeah, man! I'm cranking 90s in my cash cup for the fucking 1000th time, and I get clapped by some 13-year-old kid who fucking plays the game 18 hours a day.
Hang on. Let's do Overwatch before we do Fortnite. Okay, let's do
Alrighty.
Overwatch before we do Fortnite. Okay.
Deep breaths.
So Overwatch. You know how earlier on you were saying how Valorant's problem is it's not very viewer friendly? Overwatch is the least viewer friendly game I have ever seen in my entire life, and it doesn't even get close.
But see,
it's actually horrific.
Valorant is I wouldn't say it's not viewer friendly, but it's just not as easy as Counter-Strike.
Yeah, but like Overwatch is unwatchable.
Yeah, Overwatch
Like-
is just an absolute clusterfuck where I've spoken with I'm friends with the guy who was the coach for Team Ireland Overwatch when
Oh,
they went
that's
to the
cool, yeah,
Overwatch World Cup in LA, and Scrivsy is his name, super cool guy, and he was Grandmaster in Overwatch. He was like a top 500 player in Ireland and in Europe. Like he was really at the top of his game, and he said to me that like when he watches an Overwatch League event when it was on,
Yeah.
and he was watching it all the time, he would just turn off the analysis segments because the guys analyzing the match can't analyze that much information.
There's too much going on.
in
It's
like
impossible.
In like a 30-60 second segment, there's like 12 characters all doing their own things, and he said all the time they're just wrong. People will call out like, oh, that Reinhardt dropped his shield here and he shouldn't have done that because he got hooked, but he would say to me like, no, he did that on purpose so that his healers can build ult. And that's like a super simple example of there's just too much stuff going on that you
literally
can't
can't know.
analyze
You
it.
literally
But I think
can't know.
also that was... I don't know if I don't want to flame anyone on the analyst desk here, but like you could see the way they came into it was very much like all right, Overwatch, it's an FPS, it's going to be our esport title, all right, Starcraft, no, whatever. This is going to be
Yeah, fuck Starcraft, man.
yeah, which no, I have different opinions about that, but yeah, no, this is going to be like our big esport title. We're going to make this huge. What we're going to do is we're going to put a ton of money into it. We get a franchise league. It's going to be like the NFL with all these city-based teams. And then we're going to get all this famous broadcast talent in from all these other games. And it's going to be fantastic. So like when they do that, it's just such like a... I mean, the foundation's not there. They eventually started adding the grassroots stuff in. And Contenders was Contenders was a cool system for like building up like tier 2, tier 3 Overwatch. But... it's just...
the game just didn't work.
Exactly. The game doesn't work. They had this massive idea for it, and it's like...
And they
It's just
also
it's just so stupid because nothing
You
like,
watched,
that needed to be
you
in place at
watched
the start was there.
Overwatch for those big moments where McCree, once in every 30 games, walks out and gets a 5-man high noon.
Yeah.
And that's like why you watched Overwatch League, because it was hype as fuck when that happened. Or it was like those very rare moments where like the payload was like an inch off of the end and everybody was scrambling and it was so scrappy and there was a lot going on. But otherwise, most of the time, it was just like Winston jumps in.
and then you had
He drops
Blizzard
his
that
shield.
didn't address GOATS meta for like 2.5 years.
Hey, Goats meta won me a lot of ranked games. So
GOATS meta, off topic, but GOATS meta, if you understood the game at a high level, GOATS meta was fantastic to watch because both teams were playing the same comp, trying to achieve different things, and it was super,
You're
super
going to have
cool
to describe
comp.
exactly
So
what goes
Goat-
on.
Yeah,
So Goats meta was basically 3x3 healers.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, yes.
yeah. So
Why is it called Goats?
because the team that started it was called GOATS.
Oh, okay.
And they came in with this meme team comp, and everyone was like, oh, what the fuck is this? Like, these guys are going to get rolled. And then they just absolutely steamed through the whole tournament and just blasted everyone playing like traditional comps. So GOATS didn't go away for like 2.5 years. And if you're super, super into the game, yeah, sure, like you can appreciate the high level play.
Yeah.
But for the average viewer, they're like, oh, we go Brig Reinhardt,
Aye,
here we go
here's
again.
Zarya.
And there's another Zarya. Oh, I love this. This is really fun to watch, I guess. Teams are just going to slap each other and no one's going to die
Just
for
everyone
40
groups
minutes.
up around Lucio and it's just like, yep.
Move in the payload.
But yeah, I mean, that shows as well how like fundamentally a game like that, because if you think of, I think League of Legends is an example where obviously Riot mess with League a load and they make
On
all these-
purpose,
these
as they should.
Exactly. But you think about how that game, even when something is out of control, it's usually just one champion, and the impact that it has is that that champion gets banned, and Red Side is kind of in a tough
What's like the
position.
biggest offender right now you can think of in World's meta right now for those things?
I can't even. Well, Yumi was annoying at one stage, but people don't really play around
What's
that
the
as much
what's
anymore.
what's the 100? Isn't there something that has a 100% pick ban in Worlds right now that I can't remember?
Probably Misfortune.
Probably.
No, it's not Misfortune.
I don't know. Actually, I know Lucian's been around a lot, but I don't think it's him.
It might have been Lucian that I'm thinking of,
Okay.
but he's not even 100% anymore. I'm
But
pretty
he's
sure.
he's a cool champ. But like, I think the fact that like even when stuff gets really broken in League of Legends, compare that to Goats as a concept, where it's like we just don't play any DPS heroes, which was most of the roster at the time, and it's like, all right, this is the game is just fundamentally like not designed for like this kind of high level competitive play. It's really fun as like this free for all kind of brawler game you can play with people.
it's
but-
Smash.
Like, I think Overwatch has a fantastic casual game. The problem was they just tried to make it an esport. They should have just went super hard on the casual element and added like all these wacky game modes, like Team Fortress 2, basically, and it would have been amazing. Like, it was still a great game to play when it released, but it's just not built for competitive play.
Yep. I was just looking at like some of the other stuff on this list on the list as well. So moving off of Overwatch, I think we've kind of
Yeah, fuck
I think
Overwatch.
I think we've kicked this corpse
You're
enough.
spending too much time with me.
Yeah.
I guess I am, yeah.
There's actually, I mentioned Fortnite earlier. There's actually 3 battle royales in this.
Is PUBG one of them?
No.
Can I?
Fortnite,
Really?
Apex, and Call of Duty Warzone. PUBG's in tier 3.
Can I just ask quickly, like, what metrics was this based off? If Overwatch and Fortnite are still in the top tiers for esports,
I think so. It wasn't technically an esports tier list. It was like a PC impact like tier list, which is I think why COD is so high. And I think like both
Who
the
plays COD?
Warzone,
Yeah.
oh, it's super popular.
both
Is it?
Yeah, it's
Warzone's
crazy.
Warzone is more popular I think than the actual like releases.
Yeah,
I haven't played it at all.
I tried to play it once and it used to just crash after like 60 seconds.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
a lie. I did get Warzone, okay? This is my
it kept crashing?
experience. No, it's not even it kept crashing, okay? So, when I got Warzone, for whatever fucking reason, what company is it that makes Call of Duty? Is it is
Well, you
Ubisoft
have-
and Activision year on? Do they still do
No,
that?
it's Activision Blizzard.
Okay.
Activision Blizzard are the publisher, and then you have Infinity Ward / Respawn, and you've Treyarch.
Yes,
Treyarch,
yes, there you go, okay. I don't know what the fuck I was saying out there. But, for whatever fucking reason, when did Warzone come out?
Warzone I think was 2019.
2 or 3 years ago, yeah.
Was it 2019, 2020? Around that time.
About that. Yeah, so I would have still been in Galway. So this is the game I'm thinking of. Because I got the game, we all got the game, I think it was on release night, but for whatever reason, my IP just didn't work with everyone else's IP. I couldn't join their group. I couldn't play with them.
What?
And I messaged
just-
support about it. And I was like, "Oh, sorry." I was like, "What the fuck do you mean? Oh, sorry."
Sorry about you.
Like, and they're just like, "Oh, you have to like," because like I was looking up things online. You had to get like a VPN, or you had to like go reset your router or something like this. And I was like, "What the fuck? It's 2019 or whatever year it is. Why am I having IP issues?" Like, holy shit! I just refunded the game instantly. Never played it.
But wasn't Warzone free?
No, so it mustn't have been Warzone then. It might have been the Call of Duty before Warzone.
Oh,
then.
Blackout.
I might have been Blackout.
That had that was like the first iteration of COD BR.
That
And
might have been what I'm thinking of then.
yeah, it was.
But it was so stupid.
I'm getting a scam call.
Classic.
Scam call on his watch.
TY this guy.
Mid-show scam call. That's the first.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, it was like a modern game, and I couldn't connect because my IP didn't
Work.
wasn't compatible
it's
with.
just like-
It wasn't even that it didn't work. It wasn't like I don't know enough about tech things.
It's like when you go to the McDonald's and you ask, "Can you get a McFlurry?" and they're like, "Oh, the machine is broke," and the machine is not broke. They
yeah,
just
there's
don't.
like three
Yeah.
people getting the machine on the other side.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it was like.
Yeah.
It probably wasn't Warzone though. If Warzone was free, so it must have been the one before that.
Blackout, you had to buy the COD, and you also got access to.
It was probably
to
Blackout.
the-
I'm thinking of,
yeah.
yeah. But still, fuck that then. Fuck Call of Duty.
All right.
Cringe.
Wow. What an out there opinion.
Except for Modern Warfare.
I'm just really shocked at like how, I guess the casual players are driving this tier list. Then
probably a large part of it.
yeah,
But like at the same time though, I mean, Fortnite esports is still like a thing that goes on.
is it?
Epic very much treated like the way they've always treated it, where it's a case of we kind of just doing this so we can get people who are good at the game and kind of build a bit of extra hype around it. Boogo won that world championship a couple of years ago.
That was like 5 years ago now. I think
that was 2 years
Did
ago.
they still do?
that was
Fortnite
not
esports?
2 years
Yeah,
ago.
they do.
No way.
I know the lad who's like G2's Fortnite coach.
They have a Fortnite coach.
They have a Fortnite coach.
Is he like a daycare center?
No, you know Limitless.
Yeah.
Yeah, who played League. Yeah, he's G2's Fortnite
Are they
coach.
like 14?
I think they're like they are definitely probably still in secondary school. Most of them. I mean, most of their players
I
are
guess
North American
technically
as well.
you can be 18 in secondary school, right? So
Yeah.
or high school.
But like I don't know, like they're like a lot of the Fortnite players are young, and that's why I think when the scene was like actually kind of having the most money put into it, there'd be a lot of this like weird like inter-team drama and like really high school stuff.
Why aren't they all literally 12?
Because
Because-
that's what it appeals to.
But that's wild, isn't it? Because you think just by being like 21, 22, and by being reasonably good at the game, you just kick the shit out of these 12-year-olds.
No.
Does that mean that literally no one played the game
You
above
see,
the age of like 16?
I have a pretty strong opinion here. I think that Fortnite at its top level is only rivaled in mechanical difficulty by things like Starcraft.
Yeah.
But I would
It
agree,
is
legitimately, yeah.
insanely
You watch these
difficult to
people
play.
doing these builds and like they're moving their mouse so fast, like
Yeah.
can't keep up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not in the Overwatch kind of way where the game's dog shit. It's like I can't
actual
keep
raw
up because
speed.
Yeah.
they're literally just going that quickly.
yeah.
So I do think like it's impressive to watch at like a super high level for just the aspect of how crazy
Yeah.
the mechanical difficulty is. But for the exact same reason, it's dog shit to watch because you're just like, oh, I love motion blur. Like this is just like
I'm actually a little mauled because like that was obviously a game I covered a lot of when it kind of came out. I did like a lot of local stuff for it, and I swear it is a cool esport for like a reason that you said where
It's just because it was all 12-year-olds.
no, but it's just like it's like
stop being fixated on the 12-year-old, Stark.
But it's like the strategy that's involved in it as well, like in terms of like taking high ground and how you try to win high ground back from people and your approaches towards like duels where you're both having to out aim the person but also find the right build to get around them. And with the store moving as well, that was another really cool addition that they put in. But they just literally tanked the game. By how they develop it, they added all these stupid items that every time it was released, their entire competitive player base were just like, why? Like, why is there a mech that if I find it, they win the game? That's like literally, or the sword, which
The
like just had
Infinity
a
sword or
had a
something.
because
giant.
Thanos.
Yeah, but like.
Thanos glove was in competitive.
And I mean, in fairness, alright, Epic Games make their money off of it, but like they just kill their competitive scene, and the people who still play still get their money from the cash cups, but it's just zero interest.
I don't
in
think they
watching
were
it past
interested
that
in making
point.
it competitive though.
no,
They weren't. They did what they did what Overwatch should have done.
Yeah, but it sucks that. I wish it had been the other way around, where they were like, we have this cool game that's cool to watch competitively, and Overwatch has just been like, all right, here's our Marvel crossover, feat Naruto and Ariana Grande. My Ariana Grande, I don't know,
high heels with my Naruto
Exactly.
headband.
My
Is the ultimate combo.
Ariana Grande Widowmaker skin. That's what we're doing. That's what we're selling here. But yeah, R.I.P. Fortnite.
Yeah, unlucky
Sad.
Fortnite fans, but newsflash, Epic Games never gave a fuck about you, and you were just a tool to market their game to people. And
Not even the game, their platform.
Oh yeah.
yeah,
They did launch the Epic
I don't know if
Games.
you guys would have heard
Yeah.
that.
yeah, we just had fireworks. It's not Halloween anymore,
Damn.
so it's kind of
Well, it's
cringe.
1st November, so it's close. People.
Whoa, you can't date the podcast.
Yeah, I can.
Now we're cursed.
We are
I don't
filming
know.
on this date, but
People don't do that.
yeah,
normally,
there's a
right?
couple
I'm
other
sure
there's a couple other games here. I kind of want to move on to tier 3 though because we are kind of working through our time on this.
Okay.
Um,
Hit me with the spicy tier 3.
Let's
So-
speed run them. Let's
Alright,
speed run them.
I'll leave the weirdest one to last. So I was obviously mentioned PUBG earlier.
Is it PUBG Mobile?
No, just well, I mean maybe they're on the same
Is it
thing.
cross-platform?
Oh, it could no. It's specifically PC games was mentioned for this.
Ah.
Hearthstone.
Okay, that's like a lie.
That is
Literally nobody plays that game.
within a coffin. FIFA, which I'm surprised is low because I
Well,
suppose
it's not PC.
if it's PC specifically, yeah.
Yeah.
Starcraft 2.
StarCraft 2 is in tier 3?
Yeah.
Wow, I'm surprised at that.
That it
I-
should be lower. Or it should be.
I would have thought it wouldn't be in the list at all.
Damn.
I
It's-
love
It is
StarCraft.
mad to see Starcraft so low though. Like,
Like,
that
I mean,
was
is it
that was
really,
the
though?
esport.
If you go back like 10 years and say to someone that it would be this irrelevant nowadays, they would
They
have
would-
laughed at
yeah.
you.
But it's Blizzard doing it, didn't they? They did the same thing on Overwatch, where like they let like the Brood Swarmer meta
War.
in for like fucking ages. You know, maybe not the. You
But
know,
I think
you know
with
the little
StarCraft-
dudes that bury in the ground and they
Sorry.
get like the
Oh,
little,
the-
the little goober.
You're
guys.
talking about an entire race.
No,
Zerg.
Zerg. No, but there's like the
Specifically when
Are you
they
talking
like the
about
burrow and the unburrow.
Banelings?
they had the unit where you would burrow it, and it would spawn.
There
like,
is one
Nidus
person.
one.
There is one person in our
Zerglings.
office who watches StarCraft who's probably molding.
They would spawn
viewing
mini
this right now.
Zerglings, and you would send them to just suicide over and over and over again.
Banelings.
No, it's not Banelings.
Oh,
Are you
just-
talking
just-
I know what a fucking Baneling is.
Are you talking
Jason.
about Nidus worms?
No!
Look,
Do you
I'm
know
so
the
we're not
units?
we're not going to
triggered.
resolve this. If you guys can figure it out in the back of
Google
your
it.
head.
We have the power.
Oh,
Google the thing that burrows that
I'm not.
spawns Zerglings.
I'm not good at the tablet, but I'll give it a go.
But maybe, like, no, I don't say maybe. Blizzard did the same thing with StarCraft that they did with Overwatch, where they would have the meta and they'd leave it for months, and it was stale as shit, and no one would be interested.
You see, I don't think it had the same issue as something like Overwatch because you were always missing one of the races in each game. It was only
That is
ever
a-
Terran
yeah.
versus Protoss or Protoss versus Zerg and so on.
Or like,
But that
there's-
was interesting because that gave the matchup's dynamics.
Yeah,
you know?
I think, and this might be a hot take because there's a lot of Zoomers out there nowadays who probably don't even know what StarCraft 2 is. I think StarCraft was one of the easiest esports to watch
I
as
would
a
agree.
casual person.
I would agree.
Because it's
No, I'd
so
agree.
abstracted
Shall I
out.
Google this character.
Oh my god.
It's so abstracted out, and you just like have two massive armies. There's one color versus another color. Even if they're like Terran
Oh,
versus
yeah.
Terran, you could still have different color armies, so you would understand like one was blue, one was red, and they just like meet in this massive battle, and then one wins. You don't have to even
There's a
understand.
swarm host, by the way.
Swarm host.
A swarm host. Because
Okay.
I know that they were a massive problem in Legacy of the Void,
Okay.
and they just left them in for like ages because they were non-committal,
not bothered with
dumb
them,
as fuck, stupid units.
I don't think they spawn Zerglings, but
No,
I
it wasn't
understand.
Zerglings. It was like Swarmlings or
Yeah,
something
but
like
that's
that.
what you called them.
I said mini Zerglings. 'Cause I
Guys,
didn't- Jason, we're going to have
Chill.
a fist fight. No, there's no chill allowed. There's only rage.
But I think that yeah, it was definitely Activision Blizzard kind of left StarCraft 2 to die.
Oh no, 100%. Yeah, they were
I-
like, all right, we don't care about
I
this
do
anymore.
think there was a
Goodbye."
bit of a generation shift away from RTS games, which is kind of making a return now. But I think games like League and Dota didn't help StarCraft at all because
No, they killed StarCraft.
it's much easier. It's like fighting games where to get into a fighting game, you have to be willing to put in like hundreds of hours of
Yeah.
pure pain to like get
Learn your
even
combos and-
kind of decent at
Yeah.
the game. And StarCraft 2 was the exact same, where you would just go into ranked, you would get blasted by guys who weren't even that much better than you, but there was just no way to even
Yeah.
combat them. And then a lot of people just lost interest, and the only people that stayed with it were the super hardcore people
Yeah.
that wanted to really
Sure, the
get
big
into
thing
it.
is like loads of the pros these days are still the same pros that were there 15 years ago. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
So like, But one of my things is, I did you ever actually properly play StarCraft at all?
Yeah.
I played StarCraft 2 before Brood Wars. Not Brood Wars. What was
No,
the first?
StarCraft 1.
What was the, no, StarCraft 1 was Brood Wars. What was the first
No,
StarCraft
so there was
2
StarCraft
expansion?
1, then there was StarCraft 1 Brood War, which is what everyone calls StarCraft
Yeah.
1 now.
Okay. fair
Then
enough.
you had Heart of the Swarm.
Was the first expansion for
No,
StarCraft
no,
2.
the first, no, for Wings of Liberty.
Wings of Liberty. Yes,
Wings
that's
of
what I
Liberty,
played. Yeah, that's
Heart
what
of the
I played.
Swarm,
There we go.
and Legacy of the Void.
Yeah. So I played back in Wings of Liberty, and I was quite young, and I was so afraid to play 1v1s against people because I was so scared of losing, and the shame I felt when I lost
The
those
dishonor
games.
you would have brought upon
It
your
was
family.
they literally called it ladder anxiety back in the day. Like,
Yeah,
it was
that's what
so
it is.
Seriously,
scary.
have that.
I was like, I must have been like 14 to go and play these 1v1s against these people and get bodied, and I just couldn't do it. So I played 4v4s.
And you couldn't blame anyone if you lost because
That's the point. You were like,
It's 1v1.
I am a worm.
Yep.
and that's why
push
I
me
think
in the ground.
that's why I think League of Legends and MOBAs in general
Yeah.
got so popular because
You can blame your teammates.
it was like a
You
reduction
can have fun
in
with your friends.
what's the word,
blame your
like
teammates.
personal responsibility. I
Yeah,
guess?
exactly. Yeah. It's kind of something that I guess because it does feel bad to lose when it's like, damn, I need to get better.
Stop being cowards and give us StarCraft 3.
Yeah.
It's not happening.
All right.
That's
So
the copium.
this was just a random list I picked off. It ended up being most of our discussions. We kind of went through it.
Oh shit.
Have there any games been brought up that you guys kind of, I don't know, want to talk about?
Yeah, I think Smash Bros.
Yes, I was gonna say that. but go ahead.
Competitive Smash Bros. Is like, I understand it's like, you know, high intensity and high skill and stuff like that, but my god, the amount of cringe that goes around when people talk about like melee and stuff like that. Get over yourselves, please. Get over yourselves. All the people.
What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that?
Because like, it's the most skill intensive game of all time.
No, it's
oh my
not,
god,
it's not.
You didn't play real Smash. I play melee. That's the real Smash. You never played it. And then the SpongeBob came out. It's like, it's so authentic. It's so true to melee, the true Smash game. And it's like, stop.
Get some help.
Get some help.
Well, that's the thing though. All right, I'll so first of all, if I had to pick a Smash game, if I was like, okay, be a pro in one of these, I would pick Ultimate because I think Ultimate just like is a bit smoother. There's a few more options. There's a lot of degen things in Ultimate. People like Melee because like
Because they can't fucking move on from the past. That's why.
but it's also just a game where like it has all I think the aspects I like about Smash, where like rather than kind of just being a straight up like 1v1 fighter, where I feel like you're kind of boxed into like learning combos, and as soon as you land one hit, you're kind of just landing hits, trying to like keep your opponent in a combo. I feel like having that like dynamism around the stage is a cool element to Smash, but Melee as well kind of keeps the very clean, like you have to be really quick sort of mechanics that like a lot of Smash games kind of moved away from later on, and so it has a good mix of kind of just being skill intensive. Not saying it's the most skill intensive game ever, but still being a game that requires mechanics, but also like a cool Smash game. And the one thing that sucks about it is that you can only really play Fox and win most of the time. But aside of that, I think it has also, it's just an esport that has a ton of history. Like it's like has this super long scene, and the fact that Nintendo actively try to kill it and
That
people
is a good
still play
point.
the game.
Yeah, that's a
it's
good
so
point.
cool. Have you ever
And
seen the documentaries about it?
I've not seen that.
There's
But to
two-
be fair, with all the things that came to light in the last few years, you kind of wish they had killed it. So.
No, it was, but the worst thing is as well. That was the Smash Ultimate scene got ruined by that.
As it should have.
But no one, maybe I think one Melee caster I think was like there was like accusations about him, and then aside from that, like most of the Melee players were just left alone.
But maybe on the flip side, I think I've been playing Guilty Gear
Yep.
at the moment, and it's the first time I ever played a Guilty Gear fighting game, Guilty Gear Strive. And when that released, actually, I saw a lot of like vitriol online by previous Guilty Gear players saying that they've dumbed the game down way too much and it's too casual now. It's too
Yeah.
easy to start playing. But unfortunately, same for like Melee players.
Yeah.
If you don't make the game easy to get into, it's gonna
No one's going
cannibalize
to
itself.
play
yeah,
it.
Yeah.
exactly.
You know?
And I think that's one thing with Smash, because Smash Ultimate, I think they found a nice medium of, there is still like kind of cool mechanical intensity involved relative to Smash 4 or Brawl, which was
Brawl was my jam
Brawl.
back in my day.
Brawl literally had you had a random trip chance. If you wanted,
Yeah,
if you wanted to
Spice.
dash, you had a random trip chance.
No, obviously that was terrible.
which
yeah,
would just
Trip Chance was dumb as hell. Never
ruin
put
you.
that in anything else.
But like Smash Ultimate is has like a cool kind of like, it's still quite fast to play. The one thing is that there's so many degen characters that like are just dumb. Like having to play against Steve online is just no, leave, get out. I don't want to play against
Was it
Steve.
was it Ultimate that had the big drama where like the two players for like I think it was like their worlds they had it was Bayonetta versus Bayonetta.
That was Smash 4.
Smash 4.
Smash
That
4
was-
Bayonetta was the most broken character ever created.
Yeah, that thing was just like all the Bayonetta players instantly became the best in the
And
game.
people were so angry over it. But like they did troll it, right? They literally like stood
The-
there
the
AFK
dude-
beside
the-
each other just
The
crouching
dude,
and
the
stuff
dude
like
who won
that.
that final has actually. I'm not gonna get into it, but it's just he's
Sonic
had
Wolf,
he has had a
or something like
time. No, Captain Zach. He has had a time of it since he's just it's a lot of he's weird.
Go
individual.
Google it.
Or don't.
Or don't
I
Google
would
it.
recommend not. I would,
Don't
Maybe
Google
not.
it.
No.
Maybe not.
But yeah, it's just that final was an absolute mess, and you could see that was the moment that just killed Smash 4. And Melee was kind of like that was back when Melee was having some sick finals. I still think one of the best esports finals has ever happened was Hungry Box against Armada at Evo 2014, 2015. I'm not sure.
That wasn't that in Falco though.
No, that was not that.
Which
in
is the
Falco.
greatest esports
But this
moment of all
was
time.
literally
Disagree.
double elimination. Hungry
Disagree.
Box gets knocked into the lower bracket against Armada, who's like this overall like massive. He plays Peach and he's just stomping on people. And literally 5-game series. Hungry Box resets the bracket. Another 5-game series. He literally like ran off the stage because he thought he'd won it after the first one. Then realized, wait, no, the bracket reset. I have to go back.
Well,
and it was
shit.
just like watching this at 4 a.m. in the morning was like one of those like classic things where it's like, damn, I was here.
Hang on,
when I saw this.
Jason's ready to explode.
Go ahead.
With what his favorite
Yeah.
esports moment of all time is.
Wombo Combo is iconic, but it's not the greatest
No,
esport
it's not.
moment ever. The greatest esport moment ever is Evo Moment 37.
That is
with
universally
Daigo Umehara
the best.
and Jimmy
Yeah.
Wong, I think. Where
Justin Wong.
Justin Wong, he blocks the Chun Li
Oh,
combo.
yeah,
yes.
everyone knows it. Everyone knows it.
Yes,
that is I think universal.
that
Like that's not
is-
even like you could ask people what their favorite moments are, but I think that's the universal because even like with
I'd
the game
agree,
like
yeah.
Street Fighter, where it's tough to like intuit the mechanics and how difficult something is. That's something that you see it and you're like, Jesus Christ!
I had known
How-
nothing about
how
Street
did you
Fighter,
do
and
that?
it's still insane.
It's because-
to
it's
watch.
because
and
if
you
you-
can hear everybody slowly build up. Like, what is he doing? This?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
oh my
Continue.
The whole
god!
thing is, it's because with that play, he could have parried it like just on a normal block, but then he would have taken a tick of damage, and if he had taken a
Chip
tick of
damage would
damage,
have killed him,
he
yeah.
would have died. So he had to like frame perfect parry them by using like an attack each time. He had to
What
get the
a
right
Chad.
attack for each part of the hit, and it's just the
So
fact that he
good.
just as soon as he sees the super come in, he's like, all right, I need to do this, and then just
Every input,
executes it.
frame perfect for the parries.
He's still playing. He
Yeah.
he made a tweet about a tournament that he won recently.
Daigo is crazy,
in Street
yeah.
Fighter. Like the fact that he's still going is insane.
Yeah, it's a shame the FGC want to be small
Yeah,
because it is so entertaining to watch. Like, I don't know if you guys watch much fighting game, but like I love watching Tekken.
I watch a load of Smash, but that's about it.
I like watching like Tekken and big Street
Yeah.
Fighter events, but the pure hype that you get, like, because
It is
they
so hype.
I will
Yeah,
say
they really are.
pretty spicy take coming up here at the end of the show, but the fighting game community have the best commentators by
No,
a
yeah,
country
100%
mile.
agree. 100% agree. It's not even close. No, I definitely agree.
They just have the
100%.
best talent on
They do.
air ever.
They do, Whymsy. They do.
That's I'm questionable. They have some good talent, but a lot of the times you'll tune into a fighting game. First of all, they're really bad at explaining the game to people who are less familiar, which of course kind of plays into the whole thing of the community being insular. But also, so many fighting game tournament streams are scuffed, just straight up. Like,
Oh well, yeah. The production
so
value
many.
is low.
Yeah, but
the
that's because they-
commentators
But
are hype.
but the part of
Grassroots.
that is the commentators. Like they'll just like they.
Too casual, like.
But it's just that they're not even explaining. It's like a React video. Like they're not
Oh, that's
explaining
a-
what's
okay, I
going
guess
on. They're
that's a
kind of like,
fair point,
oh, that was good. Oh yeah, that was it. Well, obviously it's a bit different.
Okay,
It's
no,
more
actually,
like in tune.
okay, hang on. When Whymsy puts it like that, I do kind of agree too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And like, but like some
I'm
of it,
being
some of it,
swayed.
I'm
some of
talking
it is
about
really
the
good.
cream of the crop, like Tasty Steve, for example. He's like absolutely iconic. Like, and anytime there's an Evo on, I will always tune in, and he instantly
Yeah.
makes my enjoyment of whatever the match is
Yeah.
better, just by like these little like quips and remarks he's throwing in like mid game.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's so
That's very
interesting.
funny.
They are very funny. That's the thing I do like
Yeah.
about them. I don't think they're like fundamentally good, but like good. No, like I said, the cream of the crop are, and it makes it really fun to listen to. It's like a nice fresh breath air as well compared to like a lot of the other stuff.
Fresher breath there.
Fresher breath
Breath
air.
of fresh
Truer.
air. We're over an hour. Right?
Yeah,
I'm tired.
we're getting quite into it. So
okay, so that's kind of, I mean, like I said, I kind of wanted to have the tier list just to spawn up. We ended up talking about most of it. It was kind of cool to just get an overall view of different esports.
Of how we hate games.
Any final notes?
Yeah, I
from anybody?
hate video games.
Did you learn that in the past like hour of self-reflection? Hate video games.
But you gotta go play Inscription.
I do need to go play Inscription. Yeah, I do. That's what I learned.
And Endwalker. Is that our homework? We used to play Endwalker.
No, that's not homework. That's it's
That
like
is
a ball and chain.
a need. Any last words for yourself? Anything
No,
esports related?
I think we've covered a lot today. We got a lot of opinions out there, so I hope everybody watching at home enjoyed. But yeah, definitely try Inscription and take a look at Darkest Dungeon 2 if you're so inclined.
See, now after the end of that, I just want to go home and go back to playing Smash, which is dangerous because I know I'll just spend ages practicing Lucina combos, even though her combos are pretty simple.
And don't play New World.
No.
This is the official endorsement from Headmaster Stark himself, who's top of the table. But yep, that's going to be it from us. Thank you everybody for watching or listening. Make sure that you give us a like, a follow, or subscribe, whatever platform you're on. Please do help us out a lot. And yeah, that'll be it for this from us this evening. We're going to go back to our main quest. So see you next time.
Enjoy your existence.